Hello, everyone.
Hello.
There is two of us today. We've got no webcam footage. It is just going to be myself and Mike on the feed. We're just going to be painting and chatting away. So we've already got a bunch of people in the chat. Let's go through a list of some of the people. We have Lord Tattoo, Basic Miniature Painting, Matthias, because I'm really good at pronouncing stuff. Underdog Painting, and the Johnsonator so far. So it's another random live feed. Thank you all for joining us. Lord Tattoo has also just sent me some pictures on Facebook of bases because he knows I love bases, and a very cool looking orc, a pirate looking orc thing. So thank you
I'll
for
have to
that.
have a look at them in a minute.
Yeah, if you stick it on the Facebook group, Lord Tattoo, and everyone else can have a look at that one as well. So Matthias has put, any suggestions to a gamer who is looking to start painting? Words of encouragement. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of videos out there. There's loads of YouTubers. There's loads of Facebook groups you can join as well. I find Facebook groups are pretty good, aren't they, Mike?
Is this in for starting to paint a new army or getting into the painting side of it?
Well, as a gamer looking to start painting.
Ooh. Well, going off the things you said about YouTube channels and stuff like that, you've got the games workshops that you can go into, and they'll give you a brief introduction into painting and things like that. I think a lot of the time for me, it's I'll look up on YouTube, and you can find hundreds, if not thousands, of different videos on painting. I think that's why I'd suggest probably the best way to do it is just have a look at videos of what other people are doing, and they'll vary on degree of difficulty. Some doing more basic and simple techniques to others where you'd be sat there for hours working on an eye, let's say.
There's a range of
things like
stuff,
that.
really, isn't there? I mean, if you just start in painting, just learning all probably the quick painting techniques are the best way I would go with, like how to paint army, tabletop level stuff fairly quickly. There's a lot of extremely good painters out there, but it can put you off sometimes when you're trying to learn some of the, I'm going to say higher level techniques, but I mean I don't even do most of them. I just try and get stuff painted quickly.
But going into that a bit more, if it depends on how you're looking at the paint. Whether you're looking to just get an army painted just to play games straight away, or if you're looking for painting models where that's all you plan to do is just paint an army. You're not going to play games with it, but it's just something for you to do in your spare time.
Yeah.
Which then, obviously, if you are looking more to just get them painted and up and running for playing a game, then you'd go for the more basic techniques. But if it's just a hobby to do at home, then go all out with it. Because if you're quite happy to sit there for hours at a time on one model, then perhaps look at the higher techniques.
Yep. So we've got some people replying. Lord Tattoo says the orc is from Ark World. This is the thing, right? I'm not actually trying to get things painted. I think I'm just going to do a little bit here and there, but the main thing is that we can just chat to everyone who joins in on there. So I apologise if you've come here to watch me paint. There's probably going to be just the same sort of colours going on these Temple Guard, but I'm going to mainly reply to everybody, so chuck in any questions you want answering. So we've got Underdog Painting. You can join Baz's Wargaming Mafia, if I'm allowed to say that, which you can, because everything hobby related is beautiful. There's a bunch of people on there. There's loads of Facebook groups. There's Without a Clue Wargaming. James has just joined in as well. Hey James, how's it going?
Sweet.
He's putting me to shame at the moment. Have you seen the sheer amount of vehicles and, well, it's not even vehicles, armies that he's doing?
Yes, I think we were talking about it yesterday. Just how quick some people are bashing out armies on the page at the minute.
I'm so jealous. And then we've got Matthias saying, is there a difference between army painting and model painting? Not necessarily. I mean, the way that I look at it, army painting, you want to do it as tabletop standard. So you might aim to get 3 colours on the model. Like these Temple Guard are only going to be tabletop. So they've got skin, which will be like a blue kit tint. They've had a white underbelly quickly sprayed onto them as well. But the only other colours I'm going to focus on is weapons and metallics. and after that it will be pretty much their shield and a few details. So I'm not going all out. I'm not blending any of the colours. I'm not going to be spending ages doing detailed work, but it allows me to get these done pretty quickly, and it means I could probably do 10 Temple Guard in a sitting, or if I was doing skinks, I could get 20 skinks done. It's just, the idea is that you get an army painted ready for the tabletop, because otherwise you end up with plastic models all the time, and we're playing a miniature war game. It would be nice to actually have painted miniatures.
I think I'm going to have to throw a spanner in the work in the works there, because me and you work quite differently when it comes to painting armies, don't we? You look to try and get them out as quick as possible, to obviously play games, where I make work a bit more difficult myself, because I will sit there for hours trying to blend colours and stuff, and they might be only on the standard troops. Like, let's say, for instance, obviously I'm painting my Skaven at the minute. I will start trying to mix colours and blend slightly on my clan rats, which, if I'm trying to get the army out fast, obviously it wouldn't be a good idea, but for how I vision the armies look in the end, I have to spend a little bit longer.
Yeah, but they do look nice. It depends what you're after.
Yeah.
Like characters and all of the heroes in the armies, I will generally spend a little bit longer on, and maybe do an extra layer or two. And it all depends on whether you want to focus on painting models or miniatures, or whether you want to play more games. And I paint armies to a minimal standard so that I can play more games. But if I was wanting to get into more competitive level painting, then I would definitely spend longer amounts of time on them and learn different techniques. So that's what I would say.
But the main thing that I would go with is, go as far as you're happy with your models. Don't worry too much about what anyone else may think of the standard that they are. As long as you're happy with the models, because at the end of the day, they're your models that you're going to stick with forever. It's going to be, they're models that it's going to be that you're using. So just do them to the standard where you're happy with. That would be my advice. Is don't worry too much about other people.
Yeah, it's your hobby. And everyone paints differently as well. I'm still learning my style of painting, and I'm slowly getting there. I end up painting a lot of textures, and edge highlighting is the thing that I love more than probably anything. I don't necessarily do blending or wet blending that much. Whereas Mike, on the other hand, you do loads of wet blending, don't you? Like everything is blended.
I give it a go. It's nothing like, it's not like it's Golden Demon standard or anything like that, but I like that sort of effect and the way models look, so I'll always give it a go. But I think the thing is with painting, as years go by, you will always get better. The more painting that you do, so let's say you got 10 models, you paint one from start to finish, get a bit further down the line, the third or fourth, they will be better than the first, and so on.
I think it's picking something that you want to achieve as well, and making sure you achieve something every time. Even if it's just on an army level, you want to try and learn to paint red. So on your whole army, you're going to try and include a new colour and learn how to paint it to a standard that you're happy with. And every time you do a new painting project, just pick some sort of goal and aim to achieve that by the end of it. And once you do that, you'll be happy. And then when you've done that, go on to another project and pick something else that you want to do and try and achieve that. Like Go on.
Carry on, sorry.
No, you go on. Character what?
But carrying on from what you were saying about maybe using a different colour on a new army and making sure to try and add that into something different, is other things you can do would be, like I've done with armies, is that I've painted them in a different style. So my Eldar it's more base colours, edge highlights.
Yeah.
Then my rats, it's a little bit more, then I'm blending slightly on them. There will be some edge highlights. But then if I go back to my salamanders, that was all, I was more emphasis on the weathering side of it. So the armies, I guess what you're laughing at already. But
yeah, if no one's seen these, Mike did a Heresy Salamander army, and I mean, with saying try something new, and he definitely tried something new. He wanted his army to appear like it was in the rain. So every model was covered in sludge and gloss paint, so that it was shiny, and they looked
But
good.
it wasn't. It wasn't the entire model was covered in glass. It was just more the tops of the models, should we say?
Yeah, and the legs and the guns. I mean, the Dreadnought looked like it pulled himself out of the sewers. And if you didn't know the idea or the theming behind it, you'd be like, "What have you done to these, Mike?" But as soon as he explains that they're supposed to be dirty and it's raining, and he wanted to have this sort of atmospheric look to them all, like they've been out in the rain for days, it suddenly made sense. So that was a goal that Mike set himself. He achieved it, and I don't think you're going to do it again, but you've done something different.
Not to the extent, anyway.
No. Right, let's go through some more of these answers. What have we got? So Lord Tattoo has put the model up on the Facebook page. Excellent. Johnsonator Sam, why is your missus not painting her own lizard men? She doesn't paint yet. I'm getting her there. She plays games, which I'm taking as a one step of the way there. One day she may paint. For now, I'm quite happy just to sit painting her models for her.
It is something we've tried for a while to get Rachel to start painting, isn't it?
Well, I think you can't push stuff, can you? If you say to somebody you have to paint, if they're not interested in painting, they'll just go off the entire hobby. So I'm happy with the fact that Rachel will play games. So I'm going to stick with that and enjoy the fact that she's interested in the same hobby and she enjoys playing games. And for now, I've just got a bigger workload. But
yeah,
one day. What else have we got? There's quite a lot of answers actually. This is good stuff, people.
Questions or answers?
Questions and answers, I think. Let's just go down it. Lord Tattoo, it depends what I want. If I want a great painted army, I take my time, which happens to be a long time as I struggle to paint at the moment. I mean, depends why you're struggling to paint. Let us know. Like, what is it you're struggling to... Like, why are you struggling to paint? Underdog painting. For me, people think you've got to follow how someone else paints, what they see in a magazine. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got... This is what we were saying before, wasn't it? Everyone's got their own painting style. And if you try and follow... Like, I really like... There's so many different styles out there, and that's the great thing about this hobby, that there's so many variations. And if you look at one and go, I really like that, but then try and copy it, if it's not your style, it won't look the same. It won't look as good.
But what you can do is if you follow instructions that for any paint stores there is out there, you can always adapt to them to what works for you.
Yeah.
So if you can't get the exact finish from the tutorial that you're watching, then once again, just get it somewhere where you like it. Because that was one thing I used to do with when I was first learning to paint. When it came to doing layer highlighting, I wasn't that keen on edge highlighting because I found it difficult to do. So that's when I started to try and highlight by mixing brighter colours into it and then going down the route of blending. And I found that was my way around of doing the edge highlighting because I struggled with it so much.
Yeah. Just find a way that works for you. And it's likewise, I find for me painting all of my base colours, washing and then starting to highlight is the sort of method I do. I do a lot of edge highlighting on armoured models like Dark Eldar or Tau or Space Marines. I find edge highlights is a very easy way for me to highlight models, but it doesn't look as realistic as some of the other methods. So find a style that you're happy to paint and that you like the look of and go with it and keep practicing. So I think that's the style, isn't it, really? What else have we got? Matthias, very good. Thank you very much for the advice. No problem at all. Without a clue, wargaming. Painting is what you make it. Everyone has their own level. I found painting with people that are better than you helps a lot as you pick up tips, and they are very helpful, plus gives you a target. Yeah, I mean, surrounding yourself with good painters. The other thing is just a good group, not necessarily good painters, because having the inspiration and encouragement to keep painting is, and as long as you push yourself and you try and learn new things, you'll always get better. But the main thing is having fun doing it. I know a lot of times you can get put off, can't you? If you surround yourself with just Golden Demon painters and you're not anywhere near that level, you're going to be a bit disheartened.
Well, that was something I've had to tone down and learn to deal with, is that there is always going to be someone that is a better painter than you.
Yeah.
There'll always be someone.
So then it comes back to, are you happy with what you're producing?
Yes, which is the one thing I had to learn, because a lot of the time I'd paint something like, yeah, that's really good, and then say if, like as an example, when we used to be at the store, if someone then come in with an amazingly painted army, it was almost like I take it to heart. It was like, oh god, my stuff's rubbish now, and I get into that mindset every time, and I've had to learn to forget about. Yes, they might have better painted army, but going back to, as long as you're happy with yours. Do they have
style?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is people start somewhere, don't they, and they end up somewhere else. That person might have been painting for 20 years. They might have only been painting for a year. They might have more time to dedicate to the hobby than you do. You never know. So don't worry, don't get caught up about that sort of stuff, because it'll end up just bringing you down in some way, and that's not what the hobby is about. It's about enjoying painting, enjoying playing games, enjoying talking to other hobbyists about the same stuff that you love, and finding new techniques and discovering what you enjoy. So I think the main thing is focusing on that, and that's what I was saying to you, wasn't it? When you would always get all upset about seeing other people's models, it's like, Mike, your stuff's incredible. You just need to keep doing it and keep enjoying what you're doing. And now you've switched, you just get on with it.
Yeah, it did take a while, quite some time for me to do that, but I feel better about it now. I don't, when I'm painting stuff, because I used to stress myself out so much, thinking that this has to be better than anyone else that like locally. It's got to be. If it's not, then I failed. That's how I would view it.
I give up at this hobby.
Because that was one thing with me and you at the store, that it always used to be a case of, if we just started painting something else, I wouldn't view it as me and you were just painting armies. I always view it, I'm in competition with you now. Mine has to be better. If it's not, I'm going to take it to heart again. But now,
anything and just
you would just paint it. But now I can relax whilst I'm painting, and I'm not worrying so much of, oh, is that bit perfect? Is this person going to like it? Is it going to be as good as this person's?
Yeah,
and I can just enjoy it for what it's meant to be.
And you've stopped sabotaging my projects now as well, which is great.
I don't know what you mean by sabotaging.
Like just getting upset.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant I was doing something to make sure that. Yeah.
Next day, come back in, the model has suddenly been purity sealed and gone cloudy. Like, how did that happen? Oh, I did that to one of your models once, didn't I?
Oh yeah. Should we have this conversation about the purity seal?
Yeah, we'll do it in a minute.
Let's do it.
Let's just look through some other questions. There's some other questions and answers. Ambulance service. Has anyone purchased the new Citadel tweezers for only £8? No, I mean, I'm going to get myself a pair, because for £8 they must be amazing. They've got to do some funky stuff. Definitely going to look into that. Tom Wilson, hey guys, I just paint a model until I'm happy with it. Exactly, that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Lord Tattoo, does she beat you at games? Yes, she beats me at most games, which is why I don't play games. I paint models and then allow her to go off and beat other people.
Yeah, but if we go into that a bit more, as far as her beating us at games, that would be because she would sit there for hours working out the nastiest list that she could.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, in 8th edition? Was Magic, wasn't it, for Fantasy?
Yeah, we've been through this, like 2-hour games based on one turn because of Magic.
Yeah.
Mr. Cragham Gaming, evening. Yes, hello, evening. It is evening now, actually. It's getting later. Without a clue, Wargaming, I will always help people out with tips. There are people out there that keep everything secret. I hate it. Yeah, Phil always says this, doesn't he? Back in the Stone Age, when he was painting before everyone else was born, he always says that...
Was the one that was like stone and chisel and stuff like that?
Yeah, and he was painting. He was saying that you go into a shop, you try and ask the painters that were there any advice, and they would just be like, no, I'm not going to tell you. I just paint it blue or something. They're not happy to share any information. Whereas nowadays, everybody's willing to share information. The Golden Demon painters are telling you the tips. You've got David Soper. He won Slayer Sword last year. He's probably going to nail it this year with what he's been working on. But he's always putting up tips and tricks and doing in-depth tutorials, and it's just nice to see that everybody's willing to help each other, and that's the best way forward in this hobby.
Definitely.
Lord Tattoo, I only have use of one arm at the moment. That will definitely limit painting.
Yes.
Cragum, a lot of people highlight, and I don't think I've highlighted since starting the hobby. For me, it's more grunge, and I don't feel that I want to copy the style in the White Dwarf or online. Yep, keep your own style. Underdog Painting, 18 years I've been painting, and I learn stuff every day. Yep, and that's the other great thing. You always learn something new, and a new product will come out, and it will work for you, and that will change your entire painting style.
Well, yeah, because like learning new techniques and things for painting, it may be a case of that you've had advice from someone about doing something in a different way to what you're currently doing, that you may find it actually works better for you, or it's getting better results. Or just from painting it model to model, you'll end up finding something yourself.
Yeah.
That will either improve your painting or might make it faster.
Yeah, I mean, I've switched my since I found AK Interactive products. I use them as often as I can in terms of washers and weathering, and they're just incredible. I'll start a new army we were talking to Luke last night, weren't we? I'm tempted to start White Scars.
Yes.
And the idea behind that is I'll spray them with Corax White. I'll spray them with the brown, cover it in the weathering chipping fluid, and then spray it white, and that will be instant battle damage and weathering. And I'm just going to add a bunch of washes to it, and they're going to be really quick to paint. They'll look great, and that's my style of painting in speed terms. So I change my painting style based on some of the products. And Matthias has just said, if I may be bold to ask another question, do you find a significant difference in brands of paint, Vallejo, P3, Citadel, besides price? May I ask which brands you are currently using?
Can I go first on this one? Because my answer will be quite short.
Go on, yeah.
I've only ever really used GW paints. So I've always found they've worked for me. I haven't had the chance to use any other paints, to be honest, to better say whether I find that some are better than others. So I think that sort of covers it on my side. You're probably going to have a lot more in-depth answer than I will, just because of the different ranges of stuff that you use when painting models.
Yeah, I mean, I just try different things as often as I can. I'm really looking forward, as soon as I get some money, I'm going to be getting Scale 75, the bright colour range. I think it's the Fantasy set. There's some incredible looking colours in there, like bright blues and reds and yellows. And I'm going to start painting my models, spray painting the models with a white base coat more often, because I want to get a bit more of a vibrant colour to my stuff. Because everything I've painted ever pretty much is a black base coat, and they always end up dark and grungy, and that's the sort of effect I go for. But I'm wanting to learn how to paint the brighter colours and make stuff stand out. So I'm looking forward to getting that.
Well, yeah, because that's one thing with me is I normally end up I like to have my models quite bright,
yeah,
and fancy towards the end. Well, once they're finished, but I still always just go with a black undercoat.
Yep.
I need to have a go at doing, because obviously there's undershading and things like that where you'll say, for instance,
pre-shading.
Thanks for correcting me. Where you'll spray them a dark color, so say for instance the Chaos Black, and then you'll just do a light spray of white over the top, or a grey, just so the top of the model is brighter, isn't it?
Yeah. It pre-shades the model for you, so you can then stick any colours on it, and it already gives you the shading that you need. Phil started doing that on all of his, because he airbrushes a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's an easy way for him to get shading straight off the bat. You know, do the 2-can spray, chuck a colour on it, and then highlight any more you need. But going back to brands of paint, I think use anything you want. In price, they're all very similar. They're all around £2 to £3 a pot of paint. Obviously, you can find them cheaper online. You get discounts and things like that, but experiment with different ranges. Minotaur paints, they are generally better going through the airbrush, but because they're quite thin compared to Games Workshop paints. But I do use the black, Raven Black from the Minotaur range as often as I can. It's just a really nice paint. Goes on beautifully, looks amazing. and I could definitely recommend that. And there's a bunch of different ranges where there's 1 or 2 paints that you will just instantly grow attached to. You'll buy 6 pots of it and you'll leave it on your shelf, and you won't use another one after that. So just try different things, experiment, and see what works.
Well, sometimes with the different ranges that the colours are slightly off from one another as well. So you may find that there's a better shade of that colour that you prefer to the one that you're currently using. So you can, like, I'm trying to think of an example here. You might be able to help me out on this one, Sam.
I don't know what you're about.
So say for instance, like a GW Mephiston.
Yeah.
The tone of the red may be different to a Vallejo red.
Oh yeah. They're all different tones. Even if it says
that's what I was getting at.
Even if it says like the equivalent of Mephiston is something in Minotaur range, Angelic Blood or whatever, it won't be the same, or it generally won't be the same matchup exactly. So just pick what you like and go with it, and then just experiment with thinning and seeing how it goes onto the model, and pick whichever one you enjoy. Anyway, let's go through some more of these. Just painting gold, it's quite boring.
Was that sorry?
Nothing.
Okay.
Tom, if you have the motivation to paint, it's a lot better. Hangouts like this is great for me to stay motivated. This is why we do it. I mean, generally we just sit on Google, don't we? Google Hangouts, and we just chat while we paint. But you know, we've got the channel, we've got the website. There's a bunch of people that we can include in our Hangouts. Even if you're not on the chat with us, you can type away in that box. And if there's any new people in there, just jump in, just chat away, because the more the merrier. And ask us any questions you want. And if they're hobby related, we might even answer. Well, we will answer. What else we got? Without a clue, wargaming. Also, a big thing for me is knowing when to stop. You have bad days. That's when you need to walk away. I apologise as well, actually. We're going through this chat pretty slowly, but we will get through it. We'll answer questions. But I am stopping to paint while stopping to chat. You'll have bad days. That's when you need to walk away and come back to it later. You just have bad days when nothing goes to plan. Yes, that is definitely a thing. Yeah. And you also have times where you want to stop painting the model. You can keep going and going and going, but a lot of the time it's better just to stop and leave it and go on to a different model completely and just leave it at that point, because you always think something isn't finished. You know what? I'm just going to paint gold on this.
But you could like with that, you could always go back to it like a couple of months down the line.
You can. I varnish everything after.
Well, yeah. But I'm quite scared of that, as you know, because some of the results of it I haven't been happy with. Like when you sprayed my Stormcast.
Some other day. Don't really want to bring that up. Sore wounds. Phil's joined. Hello, Phil. Thank you for joining us in the chat. You might join the Hangout later. I don't know. Mr. Cragham. Question, I don't know if it's just me, but have you noticed how different locations across the globe have different paint styles? Like when you see the Golden Demon in White Dwarf, you see distinct styles. Not necessarily myself. I think there's variations across the world because there's a variation of people all over, but I've not seen like all of the Americans just do wet blending, or all of the UK crowd just do edge highlighting. There's always a good mix within each country, I think. Have you noticed that?
I've not really noticed any differences, to be honest. I'll keep it short. No.
Yeah. Okay. Phil's put cultural aesthetics come into play for different parts of the globe. So yeah, France have a fantastic style of blending. Maybe I haven't even seen enough. Maybe I need. I
think we might need to look into this.
Phil then put oi. Yes, or we do hear you, Phil. It was just getting down this chat. I'm sorry. We'll get you on with your beard soon. Lord Tattoo, I use scale 75, use a grey primer, not white. Again, I mean, grey is great because you can go up and down the ranges. However, I do want to just try white for a bit, because in terms of speed painting, I've tried it a little bit in the past where you spray the entire model white and then use washers and thin paints, and you don't need to do that many layers, and it's very quick to get a model done. I think that's why I'm trying to switch over to white rather than black. But I might try grey.
It's definitely something I want to look at, is trying some different base colours. because it's been a case of it's always been the Chaos Black for me that I've done.
Yeah, it's just difficult when you start with a black base coat and you're trying to do the brighter colours. They're generally a bit thinner, aren't they? If you use a base coat from Games Workshop, even if it's a yellow, it goes over the black. Well, it doesn't go over the black very well. You still need 2 to 3 coats of the colour. Whereas if you start with a white, you can get away with 1, maybe 2.
Well, that was one mistake I always used to make when it came to painting white. If you remember back to when I was painting white vehicles, I would still spray the model black and then work so many layers up to get it to a pure white. It took forever. So I had to thin the paints down so much that they were like milk, and then it would be like 10 coats just to get it to that flat white. Then, so spraying it white would definitely have been a better idea.
Yeah, it would have been quicker.
Yes, a lot quicker.
But I can see what Lord Tattoo is saying with the grey. I think grey gives the scope to go up to the lighter colours as well as having it dark enough to go, keep it grungy still. So, but grey is the best in between colour. I think white is the best if you know you're going to be painting bright colours, and then black if you're going to be going grungy. I think that's the rule that I will stick to anyway. James has put, I've recently changed to using Halford's grey primer, getting great results. Yeah, Phil switched to those. I've never tried them. I've always stuck to Games Workshop stuff. However, I'm just going to give it a go. The problem I've had is some spray paints tend to go dusty, and if the stars aren't aligned and the planets aren't orbiting at the right speed or whatever, then you get some dustiness and cloudiness sometimes. So I'm always a little bit.
Well, there was some I don't know if they were car sprays or something that we tried before, but they were really shiny, weren't they?
Yeah, I was trying Imperial Fist. Before the Avalon Sunset was available as a spray, I was using some sort of yellow. It was nasty stuff. It smelt like death, and I'm surprised it didn't melt the plastic. Because that was some nasty strong paint. So we have trialed and tested some other stuff. Yeah, it wasn't great. Alright, let's try some Azandri dust. So, a question to everyone who is watching: is anybody else sitting and painting today? I know there was a few people saying they were working on some stuff. What is it you're actually doing? James says it's £7 a can too, so yeah, Halford's pretty cheap and pretty good. Tom Wilson, I've always used black, tried grey and never looked back. White primer is less forgiving for me, yeah. I think the time it worked was when I did zombies. I painted a bunch of zombies and I sprayed them white, and then I covered them all different colours of browns and greens and things like that, and it was just so quick. I think I did 40 zombies, a corpse cart, some hex race, and something out in an evening.
Well, that's the thing. It all depends on what you're painting as well. Sometimes it's better to use lighter undercoats or darker, depending on how you're going to get painted. If you're doing, say, for instance, spirits, and then going for like a white or even possibly a grey undercoat spray, and then just washes over the top, and you'll get the effect that you want then.
Yeah, definitely. So Phil's prepping the room for battle reports. Brilliant. Once we've finished this, I am going to switch over to editing the Age of Sigmar battle report, because I'm going to try and get that out for Sunday. Although we are going to that event on Sunday, so I need to get it done this evening. I think it's going to be another late one, editing that one. Plus there's quite a lot of footage. So I'll finish editing that, and then we've got one more to sort out for next week, and I think that's going to be on the premium part of the website. We're doing a Zone Mortalis game. It was between me and Mike. Mike played Eldar Wraiths, and I played my word bearer Zone Mortalis Force. And I'm going to edit that and get it up, aiming for next Sunday. It will only be for premium members, but if you head on over to the wargameronline.com website, you can set up a free account, and we're cycling through the premium content. So even if you make an account for free over there, you'll be able to see some of the premium videos every month. They'll just switch to a different cycle so you can access some of them. However, if you use the discount code and pay for the premium account right now, you're only paying £2 a month. It's really cheap. It helps me out as well, and it helps us buy equipment, which is what we're spending a lot on. Isn't it?
That code's only available till the end of Sunday, isn't it?
Yes, the end of Sunday. It's early bird. It's all one word, capital E, capital B. So use that code. It's at the bottom of the website. On the right hand side, it tells you about the discount code. But if you are going to be signing up for premium, use that code, get it cheap, and we're going to keep chucking up loads of content on there soon. And it's a range: painting, battle reports, chats, and also premium member stuff. There's going to be a lot of interaction between other YouTube channels and other premium members, so that's going to be pretty good. John Snater, I'm waiting for kids to go to bed before starting. What is it you're working on, John Snater? Which models? James put Iron Hands today for me. Going to Warhammer World tomorrow to get something big. Oh, this was the choice. This was the. I think he was asking what he should get, and the voting was down when I was going to put Mastodon, so I'm hoping he's going to get a Mastodon. It's such a nice model though. What would you buy, Mike?
If I had a choice of any big 4-drop models?
Yeah, okay, we'll exclude Titans and like the Thunderhawk because you can't buy it now, but other than that, what would you... If you could buy anything, what would you buy, and what army would it be for?
I'm just trying. The problem is that there's so much. Every time we've ever been up there, it's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. If money wasn't an issue and you could just pick anything, I think I'd possibly pick up all of the Primarchs.
All of them?
Yeah, I think so.
I said one thing, not all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll buy all of it if money wasn't an issue as well, Mike.
Oh, I can't pick one.
You've got to. This is the dilemma you've got.
Oh.
You can buy one thing. It can be anything, but you can only buy one.
Another racer.
Really?
Yeah. You said I only had one.
Yeah, you're allowed one thing. So you pick another Wraithseer.
I'd paint it differently.
Got no limit at the minute. You can pick anything you want. Rather than going for a nice, new, shiny, big model, you pick a Wraithseer, which you've already got.
Yeah, I know.
God, you're really pushing the boat out there in imaginary land, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
Rubbish. I think I would pick a Mastodon. That's why I was telling James to get one, because I would actually buy one myself when I have the funds, if I ever get them. Mastodon would be the first, but the problem is picking which legion to put it into. I think it would suit the wolves best. I think it would be the wolves.
Why do you think it would suit them better?
Well, they're quite an assaulty army, aren't they?
Yeah,
imagine them rolling up into Prospero, just dropping the door and being like, yeah, say goodbye. You wouldn't be able to do much against that, would you? I'm sorry for all the Thousand Sun players out there, but I play Wolves, so instant hate. And I know you hate me and all the other Wolves as well. What have we got? My chat's being wonderful on the Mac. Tom's put assembling models and then painting others. James has put Love Zone Mortalis. It's our main battle reports we do. Yeah, they are pretty fun. I mean, we're getting the game me and Mike played. We tried some new rules. We tried some funky rules, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, it was the first time I'd ever played Zone Mortalis as well. Yeah. So it's definitely a different way of playing.
Yeah. Lord Tattoos asked, what's the difference between the different levels on the website? You've got, if you just go to the website now and you don't have any account, you can access all of the videos that are available on YouTube. So, but the search is, it's going to get faster, but the searching is a lot easier to get through. And if you want to find a Dark Eldar, everything related to Dark Eldar, you can use the keyword search, or you can use the menu that we've put in place. We're tweaking it to make it more efficient, but once everything's on there, it will be really simple and straightforward to use. So that's what you get just by going onto the website rather than using YouTube. You've got the freemium account, and all that means is you register to the website. You make an account. It doesn't cost you a penny, and that gives you all of the access to the videos that you would get by browsing, but you also get premium videos for free. It's only going to be, I think we're saying 4 to 5 a month, and they'll cycle. So you'll get access to different premium videos. However, if you pay for the premium subscription, you get access to everything on the website. There's going to be more involvement as well. So if you want to get involved with more of the interactive stuff that we're going to be doing, having the premium account allows you access to get involved with that. We're also going to be doing stuff with other YouTube channels and different parts of the community, and that's all going to be premium related stuff. So at the moment, the discount's pretty hefty if you're thinking about it in the long run, because there's going to be hundreds and, well, there'll be thousands of videos eventually when we get round to it.
Cheaper than ice cream, wasn't it?
It's 50% cheaper than an ice cream in this area. Yeah, it's really... I'm never buying ice cream here again.
No.
But I think we were looking at stuff you could get for £2, and you know, it's pretty decent. You could get 2 bottles of water from Poundland, or you could be registered to a website and get a load of videos each month.
Yeah.
So that's the subscription stuff. What other? We've got John Senator finishing modelling 2 Renegade Knights, one used by Renegade Militia and one Khorne based. That'll be awesome. Stick that on the Facebook page once you get a chance, John Senator, if you wouldn't mind. I got a knight, didn't I? And I've not done anything with it.
I did not realise you had one.
Well, me and Phil went halves on that. What was that box set that came out? Where you get 2 knights. One of them's supposed to be a Renegade Knight, and the other one's a normal Imperial Knight.
Was it not Renegade, the box was called?
Probably. Yeah, well, we bought that, and it was supposed to be for my Deathwatch army, and that fell through because I couldn't break it, rules-wise.
Okay.
So I have got a knight, and I will probably either give it away on the website as a giveaway, or I will put it into the Chaos army. I don't know what to do with it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Might be a giveaway, might be used. What else is there? James says, see, that's the problem. Too much choice at Forge World. Yep. Literally everything is worth buying. Basic miniature painting. Going to the GW shop Saturday. Bought a Khorne Berserker squad, but got a bog standard Space Marine sprue inside. Going to swap for something. That's random. So you bought a box of Khorne Berserkers and you got normal Space Marines instead. James, sod it, Mastodon it is. Yes, yes. That'll take you at least an hour to paint, James. Right, that's going to set you back a bit. You're going to have to schedule time for that. Steve's joined us. Sup, guys? Just finishing work. Nice one.
Hello.
Yes. So there we go. We did get through the chat.
Is that all the questions so far?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't actually asked much, have we? That's just people jumping on board. What could we ask people? I want to find out about bolt action, because I've been watching Band of Brothers again with Rachel, and it's really good. And I'm surprised.
Is that the really small models?
Bolt action is 28mm still, I believe, but their tanks are awesome. And I painted one of the German half tracks in the past.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're on now.
And they're quite diddy, but really cool. And I'm tempted just to give it a go, but I don't know how the rules work, and I'm not sure how you build armies or anything like that. So it would be like jumping into the deep end of.
Could possibly be something quick to paint as well.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a different style to like the stuff that we generally tend to paint.
It's also because it's historical. Like that's the other side of the thing. My uncle does historical. He does, and he always says I should grow up and play proper games. And I always tell him to shut up because sci-fi stuff's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I have been tempted by all of the ancient historical stuff as well as all of the World War models, and the more all of the guys are posting it on that Facebook page, I'm gonna have to just look away or join in. But it's the fact that you can look through pictures and documents and get it all right. And when I was painting that half track, I actually had to look through the different theatres of war and find out what colour schemes would work and what markings they would put on their tanks. And things like the weathering. Obviously, when you paint a Space Marine tank, you paint it yellow, or you just do some really funky colour. And when you do weathering, you might just stipple on some silver or some brown. But when it comes to the historical tanks, you'd think, like, what would the primer be when they're painting their tanks? Like, what colour would it actually go down to once you start chipping off paint? And how did the soldiers paint their tanks? Because they'd be given the stuff to paint and repaint their tanks as it is, wouldn't they? When they're out there in the war, they wouldn't have time to say, oh, here's a brand new tank for you, painted up to the right sort of colour scheme that you need for camouflage. They'd say, here's the paint, there's your tank, get on with it.
Well, did you spend how much time do you think you spent doing a bit of going into the research and looking up on how you're going to go about painting it?
Not loads, but I know that this is the thing, because there's so much to it. I didn't delve into it as much as I could do, and I really want to dive into it. The thing is, I'm gonna look at the models. I don't know what force I would pick. I'm not really too fussed about how they play. I just want a really cool looking force with some tanks and some infantry, and maybe chop them up and make them look really cool and converted. Watching Band of Brothers, I'll keep watching through that. I think I'd like to do the Americans, the Germans, or the British.
Okay.
So that still leaves it open. I forgot what I was saying now.
Bolt action.
Yeah, I know bolt action, but I did have something I was going to talk about. Oh, masking. You know the tattoo? Not tattoos. I'm just reading Lord Tattoo. You know the camouflage.
Yeah.
Not having an airbrush at the moment, and without annoying Phil by going over with more models and saying, can you just do this, can you just do that, I was looking at how you can do the camouflage, and remember I was using blue tack at one point.
Yeah.
And I was masking it off and using spray cans to get the camo effects. I did quite enjoy doing that. Right, let's see what answers. James, loving this, guys. I have a load I can send you, Sam. A load of bolt action. Interesting, James. That would be awesome. Tom, do it, Sam. I think it's because Tom keeps on posting up bolt action stuff. Like, here's your daily bolt action picture. Tempting you yet? Lord Tattoo, do you guys only play GW games? Phil's put, we're expanding our games. Just picked up Devil's Run and we're looking at more, but most of our armies and GW, are GW. It is, GW is the big one for me because I've been doing it for so many years, but there is this bubble that I'm in. And
well, we've always said about branching out and trying some new games, but then just never get around to actually doing it, just because either we pick up a new army or that we just get sidetracked with something else.
Yeah, you're the same as me, aren't you? There's quite a lot in our group where we stick to GW because we're all comfortable in that zone. We're comfortable with the background. We know roughly what we're doing with everything, and it's comfortable, I think, more than anything. As soon as you start jumping into different systems, you then need to learn rule sets. You need to find players that are doing the same thing, unless you can convince your group to join in.
Yeah, that was always the difficult thing, that we might have one or two people that wanted to try Sim, but then no one else was really that interested.
Yeah.
Because we did try D&D, didn't we? Which we ended up using models for, so that was something completely different.
Yeah, that spiraled. The problem with D&D is it's a lot of dedication by the GM. They've got to put a lot of time in, and we dumped it all on Pink, didn't we?
Yeah.
We're like, we're gonna turn up and we're gonna just play, and you come up with all the stories, and they were so much fun. I did enjoy doing D&D. But it is a lot of pressure for the GM. So unless they're willing and they have time to think up all of the background and stories and how a game's going to work, because we played one of them which was a Christmas themed D&D session, and Pink themed this entire I think it was like a 7 or 8 hour stint where we just sat down and it was all Christmas themed. So there was like Christmas trees that came to life, and there was Santa Claus, which was like a werewolf dressed up as Santa, and we had to defeat him, and there was all these different puzzles, and it ended up being like a computer game because he'd made up all the mechanics of how you beat bosses and how you get past all of the events. So it was so much fun, but it's a lot of work for somebody to come up with.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just pick a game, play it, and enjoy it, we just buy models and play games. I think that's a little bit easier.
Well, it's like, I think a lot of the time for me when looking at different games to possibly play, I think the biggest draw for me is the models over everything, rather than how the game would actually play, or the model count. If it's a low model count, it's something you can get into quite quickly. You're not going to need to throw tons of money at it. And if it's something where you buy the one box and then the one box that sorts you forever, then you wouldn't ever really need to go and get anything else. Then that's a bonus.
It's different for me because the models are the big thing that I like, but I really like the unique side of modelling. I love converting and chopping stuff up. So we looked into, I think it was like Malifaux or one of those games, and they've got these cool gangs that the miniatures are really nice and they'd be great to paint. However, I can see me getting bored of it very quickly because I wouldn't be chopping them up, I wouldn't be converting them. You play them as they are out the box pretty much. And I think that's what puts me off games, whereas certain things like bolt action, it's World War II. As long as I stick to camouflage and what would actually look realistic, I could stick guards, soldiers all over the tanks and things. And
I get you.
It's still a unique model, however, it does make sense. Whereas if I just get a Malifaux gang and then chop them all up, it's not the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But models are definitely the draw for me as well. And the game has to be fairly simple.
Well, that's always been one for you. It's like we've discussed it with 40k, that at times it just gets too much and you get bogged down more reading rules than actually playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a miniature game, isn't it? I want to play a war game. I don't want to read a rule book. I'll go and read Game of Thrones if I want to read something. And I'm not doing that because I'll watch TV. So, yeah, I need to be playing a game that interests me. I don't know, we'll see what happens. With the channel, we've got so much potential now to delve into different game systems, and we can get a group of like 4 to 5 people and try out a system. So if we said tomorrow to Phil, like, oh right, Phil, we're starting bolt action. He'll go, yeah, okay, cool. Well, we'll give it a go, and he will pick a faction. He'll pick an army. I'll pick an army. You'll pick an army. We can all then do a quick build, learn the system, play some games, and then do videos on all of it.
Yeah. Well, it's like people can drop some suggestions for other game types in the comments that we could have a look at, couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, so knowing what we're like, it's got to be a fairly simple game with miniatures, and for me, the ability to convert miniatures as well, because the Games Workshop kits are great because you can buy all sorts of kits from fantasy to 40k, and you can still split everything up, can't you?
Yeah.
You can convert from the different ranges, so the convertibility is a big one for me.
Not so much on my side.
No, but if you've got any suggestions for that, definitely let us know, and we will look into it. I know Kablams was talking about Frostgrave because of the skirmish. Skirmish is nice as well because it means it's a low model count, like Mordheim and Necromunda. They're perfect games, aren't they?
Yeah, well, with the low model count, it means you can get them done quite quickly, and then you're straight away you're good to go then.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we've got a few more bits. Tom Wilson, I'm going to keep posting bolt action stuff in the Facebook group until you fall feet first into it. Cheers, Tom. Steve, we pretty much took up Heresy at the same time. Yeah, when we were at the store, everybody in the store took up Heresy. We did a Heresy campaign. It was amazing. I think we had 1 to 2 of every legion, and we did our own campaign where people chose different sides. So we didn't follow the Heresy. We had a big galaxy map, and
we sort of made our own Heresy sort of thing with it, didn't we?
Yeah, we rolled off teams, and we had team captains, and we played games across the galaxy, and they had control of different planets and strong points. and that was really good because we'd all built armies, and then we all got to play with them and roll dice and have fun. So Heresy was great. Craig's back. Welcome back. Question: who or what would you be in the 30k/40k or AOS universe? Who or what would you be? I think were you on the chat the other day where we were talking about what army would we be for 40k?
I don't think so. I think that was the one before I was on, I think.
Okay, because 40k wise, I chose Tau. So
what was your reason? What was your reason for it?
Well, as much as you'd think like, oh, I'd be badass if I was in 40k, I wouldn't. I'd just be like, yeah, if the Tau came and invaded my planet and said you've got a choice of fighting us or joining us, and they just wiped out my planet, I'd join them, and they'd give me a weapon, and I'd go and fight for them. That wouldn't be an issue for me. And I like the idea of it, so I would join the Tau Empire. That's only if they raided my world and stuff. If I had the choice of joining anything, I would like to say I would join one of the Space Marine Legions, but I'd probably give up when it came to training. So I'd have to be a bit different to how I am now.
I don't know what I'd choose, In
40k?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Eldar?
Yeah, I think it would end. At the end of the day, it would go back down to Eldar.
You'd be a Spirit Seer, or you'd die and you'd come back as a Wraith Guard. Maybe we should pick what each other would be. I think that's more fun.
Okay.
Let's do that with. So what was it? Age of Sigmar as well. 30k, yeah. 40k, and Age of Sigmar. So 30k. Which Legion would you actually join? You know which one I'm going to pick. Actually,
which Legion would you join?
No. If I'm picking for you, which one you would be in?
Okay, go on.
I think Legion-wise, it could be between a few. It would either be Salamanders.
Okay.
Raven Guard. Or Ultramarines. So I know that's pretty broad. But
just a bit.
I think you would follow the rules like the Ultramarines.
Yeah.
You could be quite sneaky though, like the Raven Guard. And stealthy. But they move quite fast. I know you can run quite fast, but... Okay, Ultramarines. Raven Guard are out. But then Salamanders are like... The whole story, I'm not going to go into spoilers because Phil hates...
Yeah, not this time.
Spoilers, but the whole background with Vulcan and the way he is, if his Legion is the similar sort of...
Okay, I think I get what you mean.
Yeah. You know what, Ultramarines, you would be part of the Ultramarines, and in terms of a role, I would say you would be like a...
Well, would we not be better off than just picking it by Primarch then, rather than necessarily the Legion?
Which Primarch would you be? Okay, Gilliman, done.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting at there. You'd have to be Angron.
What?
I think it'd have to be.
I'm really not angry.
Oh, you have your moment. I think you'd be Angron. I could picture that.
But he's proper crazy. Like uncontrollable.
I think you could be pushed up to that point of being uncontrollable and crazy.
I suppose. Cheers, Mike.
That's right.
So that's 30k. 40k. We'll skip that one. Age of Sigmar. Oh god, there's so many choices for Age of Sigmar, isn't there, as well? The world's just massive.
Yeah. We might be better off skipping over because I don't know if I can think of something.
You know what? Let's say Age of Sigmar for one of the live chats. We'll put that down as one of the questions. Yeah. Just remember, and we'll put that in there.
Yeah.
And we'll decide what somebody else is. So you don't get to pick. Everyone else gets to pick.
Okay.
Right. What else have we got? Michael Duff, you mentioned Raven Black earlier. by Minotaur, where in the UK actually stocks it. I don't want to pay £10 plus to ship it over. So Phil's already answered that. There's a place called Barwell Bodyworks, and they stock the entire Minotaur range. And I know the black one, when I ordered it, when I didn't go down, because me and Phil drive there as well, because it's not too far. But if you order it in, I think you need to buy like 4 or 5 pots of the stuff. I think specifically for the black, because it is wanted quite a bit. They get you to pay for a pack of them. However, it might be worth just checking their website and sending them an email. And like the starter set's fairly cheap. You can buy a starter set of Minotaur stuff and add a Raven Guard black onto there. But it's a really nice paint. Definitely worth looking at that. Tom's put, one of GW's current strong points for me is they keep bringing out boxed games, so it's not just 30, 40 and Age of Sigmar. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. You've got this new Necromunda thing, haven't we? Phil's ordering that.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of it, but I mean...
Is it...
Shadow Zone? I think it might be called Shadow Zone. Somebody can tell us what it is, and we get it right.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. Well, there's like the previous board games that they've done, like for instance, Space Hulk. That was something different, and even the Deathwatch box that they did. Although it had the similar feel to 40k, it still felt different at the same time.
For me, it's the fact that you can use all of the models in these games in the rest of the Games Workshop worlds.
Yeah.
So, like the Deathwatch box set, you can play Overkill as a standalone board game, or you can use both of those armies in your normal games.
I mean, they did rules for them as well in the White Dwarfs, I think, for each of the characters in that box.
Yeah. And you get some nice formation rules as well. What was the other one that was really good? Oh, there's been loads of them. The Chimera. You know, the ones where you get jet bikes and the Green Goblin.
Green Lantern?
Green Goblin. Hoverboard things.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, okay. It's about £35, and you get in something like 50 to 60 quid's worth of models alone, and then the board game is supposed to be like a Necromunda style game, but in the air. So everything's flying around, and it's all about the gangs in Camorra fighting against each other. And for £35, it's worth. So
is it just Sky Battles then?
Yeah. But I was going to start Dark Eldar and buy a couple of boxes of that.
Yeah.
Another good value one.
That does seem a different way to play if all the battles are in the air.
I mean, myself, I'm not too keen on that. I was just thinking value for money on the models.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But in terms of another box game that GW's done, where even if you're not too keen on the rules of the game that it comes with, you can then go off and use them for a Dark Eldar army. It works perfectly.
Well, yeah, well, I think we're thinking it that way then. Most of them boxes, you get value for money for the models then that can be used for something else. That it's not just inside that one board game. That you can chuck them into the armies that you're currently using as well.
Yeah. What else have we got? You know what, I'm just going to put my model in front of my other one. I've just finished Rachel's. I actually don't know if it'll pop up. Na 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 na. So we finished the bases for Rachel's Seraphon army.
Well, you finished them late the other night, didn't you?
Yeah, and I've just gone on to painting her Carnosaur. And this thing has just been done to tabletop again. It's had the base colour. Phil's done the airbrushing on the blue, and he's done the airbrushing on all of this. He's just done some really nice patterns, and all I've done is gone back in and it was chipped in places, so I've just repainted areas and then chucked some washes onto it and brought out the definition on it. And then the Carnosaur's face is, oh, look at him, so mean and nasty, just covered in blood.
Oh yeah, I've seen that picture. You always like to go quite gory with things like that as well, though, don't you?
Yeah, I mean this spike on his back, that had a chip on it as well. So rather than try and correct it, I just covered it in more blood, like something just landed on it. But the little dude on the back looks pretty intimidating. He's got a cool little magical blade thing. Yeah, so I'm quite chuffed with that. And the bases, they came out all right. Got some nice little flowers on them. So that is The first big
That's
part.
that's them flowers from the nail art things, wasn't it?
Nail art. Hashtag nail art. They come out nice. So yeah, really happy with that. I'll leave them there while we go through some more. Phil's put Sam, don't do spoilers. I'm not Phil. You'll be so proud of me. Magnus, yes, Phil, Magnus. Magnus is in the game. We don't even need to do that question for Phil, because it would just be Magnus in 30k, Magnus in 40k, and Magnus in Age of Sigmar, because that's all he's going to shout. Lord Tattoo would be a salamander. Tommy Anderson, Angron is just misunderstood. Thank you. If that's me, I'm misunderstood. Frost and Fist has joined us. Hello. I think we all have our moments. Steve's put Mephiston in 40k, Sigismund in 30k, and Vlad for Sigmar. Sigismund, that was the guy that I played in the campaign, 30k campaign.
Yes.
And Steve was so jealous, and now I've stopped doing Imperial Fist. He's taken up Sigismund as his mantle. Like, I am now Sigismund. Whereas before it was all about Dawn for him. Frost and Fist, Sam, if you could make just one misstroke so that I can tell you're human, that would be great. Mate, these are the most sloppily painted models. I mean, take a look. Base colours. Beautiful, beautiful base colours. But these are tabletop. As soon as I chuck a wash on it, they'll look nice. And you can see that all I've done is put a gold on it, a bone on it, and then I'm going to wash it in a minute and we'll see how that turns out. Actually, I know what it'll turn out like. This guy in the back.
Things you've just said about tabletop, bringing it back to the paint and the discussion we had earlier on it.
Yeah.
With tabletop, everyone has their own version of what tabletop is.
Yes. Yeah. So some people's tabletop will be a base colour and a wash. This has had...
Because I think like mine and your difference in what's tabletop are different. Because you will add some highlights for tabletop, whereas for me it would just be base colours and washes, and then that's it.
Yeah. I'm just getting some more models down actually.
Oh, okay.
I've got my Space Wolf actually. This is tabletop, like proper dry brush. So for anyone who hasn't seen these Space Wolves before, these are dry brushed. And I did my word bearers recently, and they've been edge highlighted, which is, I mean, if I zoom in on these, you can see from there, they look fine. You can see there's some definition on them. There's some detail on the shoulder pads. That's above tabletop for me. And like the tattoo on his face. Oh, that's not his face, that's his hair. The tattoo on his face, that would be more than tabletop for that bit of detail. But when you look at this model, you see a tattoo, you see some script on his shoulder pad, and overall the model works. So having 30 to 50 of these tactical marines on the table will look absolutely fine. And that's why it's tabletop. But if I zoom in now, oh god, this is going to be... I'm going to regret doing this.
I can't see this, so
right.
I'm going completely on your description.
If I zoom in on this, you can see that they're not crisp highlights. You can see the wash where it's gone into the recesses. And it's just... I mean, it's as good as it needs to be for tabletop. There's a little bit of highlighting around the wolf, but that is really basic. And we've also got the big fat slan, which I finished for Rachel as well. Doesn't show up too well on the camera because of the exposure, but I'm going to leave it because it's only the bone that doesn't show up too well. So they're the two models that Rachel has for her army so far. And I just need to add some Temple Guard and some other bits and pieces. Right, let's get them out of the way. And for some reason I've also got this little Shadow Blade guy. Can you remember him?
Shadow Blade.
Everyone called him Little Red Riding Hood, so I stopped using him in games.
I remember.
He's got a nice little red cape. And it's got a nice colour to it. This was when I had an airbrush and I was practising with it. And I pretty much just did the red on this cape and then sold the airbrush. It's got dust on it now. I should leave that in a case. But quite cool looking models they are. Right, let's go through the questions. That was what I was supposed to be doing. Tom Wilson, Gangs of Camorra. Lord Tattoo, like that, Sam. Nice work on that. 300. Well, Phil. Phil's obsessed. 399 subs. Woohoo! Almost giveaway time.
One more.
Lord Tattoo. I have a 3,000 point army of lizardmen. That's for 8th edition. Yeah, I mean, Rachel had high elves in the past. I had dark elves. You had Seraphon, didn't you, actually?
Yeah. I had the lizardmen in 8th.
But Rachel's going to have over 3,000 points of lizardmen when she's done. James is off. Right, I'm off, guys. Have a great evening. I'll let you know what I pick up tomorrow. Take care. If you're still there, James, have fun tomorrow and post pictures of the Mastodon. Frost and Fist, I remember when it was all base colours, back before I learned about washes and highlighting techniques. Yeah, and to be honest, if you want to play games and you're happy with just chucking a base colour and a wash on it, go with it. We were saying earlier, weren't we, Mike, that everyone has their different levels and different techniques, and there's nobody can say one way is better than the other, or one way is right and one way is wrong.
No, it's totally down to your own like different opinions on whether something's tabletop to them, but as long as you're happy with it. But even going back into like things that can progress your painting slightly would be if you're only currently just using base colors and that's all you're doing, just adding a wash it'll bring out all the definition of the model and completely change the look of it.
Yeah, I mean, before we stop this feed, it probably won't go on for much longer. You know what? I'll stop the feed once I've done the wash, I think. Unless we get loads more questions that we can answer. I'm going to chuck a brown on here, and then after that I'm going to wash the entire model. And this is what I was saying about painting them really quickly. I'm going to have 3 or 4 colours on a model, and then I'm going to wash it. That will blend all of it together, and it will do all the shading I need. And then after that, I might pick out the leather straps a little bit more, or I might pick out some of the teeth or the bones, but it really does not need to be much more than that for the level that I'm going for. Right. Frost and
that was one thing that a lot of people, like when we were at the store, a lot of people had asked us if they'd say, well, how do you paint? How can I make it look like that? How can I make my painting better? And they say, well, that must take ages. A lot of the time it's not. It's just using simple techniques and doing it step by step, and then you'll get you can up your level of painting so much just doing it step by step.
Yeah. So that's what I think. Is it Mythos or Freak? I don't know who's on from Frost and Fist, but he's just said, I remember. No, he put, I was so scrub. Then I used the YouTubes to self-educate, and that's again what we were saying. There's so many YouTube channels out there that everyone paints differently, and there's loads of different tutorials that show you different techniques and different styles. And if you just sit and watch all of them, you'll pick up something that works for you. And that's the main point. Just keep painting until you pick up something that works for you, and then go with it. And then don't get disheartened if you're not too happy. Just keep on going. I don't collect Seraphon, but I really want that Slan model. The Slan model was that's what I started with her army, mainly because she loves Croak. She's obsessed with casting meteors.
It's the magic, isn't it?
It's the magic that Croak has, but I really like the model. And we've got another Slan, one of the normal ones that's not all mummified, and we've got one of the skinks as well, the skink priest that sits on the throne thing.
Teto Echo, I think, isn't
it? Is it Teto Echo?
I think so. If it's skink on a chair, I think that's Teto Echo.
But is it Teto Echo in Age of Sigmar?
Oh.
He was in 8th edition, but I'm sure that didn't carry on.
I'm not sure on that one.
I think it's just a skink priest, but I'll have to check. Phil calls them all Echo Gecko. So what's this guy's name? Echo Gecko? Yes, Phil. Echo Gecko. That's another lizard. Tommy Anderson. I'm working on my skills. I've got a lot to learn. Everybody's got a lot to learn, Tommy. Don't worry about it. I've got tons to learn. I stick to army painting, so the quality of my stuff isn't competition level. And that's what I want to start learning, is trying to do blending and non-metallic metals and all the different techniques that I haven't learned. I want to start doing them and practicing it. And that's what I was saying. Everyone's got goals. Everybody's got something they can learn. and even if you're at the top, somebody will be following you. You know, if you're winning Golden Demon after Golden Demon, somebody else will soon be catching up, and you're going to need to practice new stuff or paint things a different way.
Yeah, there'll always be something new to learn, or some way that you can improve yourself with your painting. It'll always be there.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake, Phil. Just
what now?
Echo Magnus. Everything's Magnus. Just paint Magnus. Just buy him, paint him, and get it out of your system. Lord Tattoos put, no, the Skavens killed him. Spoiler, that wasn't even me. Well, it was like last year, and it was old world, so it's not my fault. Time to lose 10 watches. Tom's put purple wash on green skin. Yeah, I mean, it's contrast, isn't it? I was using purple washes on gold. That looks really nice. But I'm going to use a brown wash on this blue. So it'll grunge it down. But the brown wash will work on the brown leather that I'm doing now, the bone colour, and it will also dull down the blue a little bit. So that brown wash will work for everything on this model. Undercover Soviet. I have no goals. My life is sad, very sad. Right, well, you know what, Mr. Soviet? You can make a goal right now. What do you want to do in your next army or on your next model? What goal do you want to do? And you can set it right now. Because that's the great thing. You can just change what you want to do, can't you?
Yeah. Going back to earlier, I think someone said about spending too long on a model or losing steam painting an army. Ways of breaking that up would be just pick up a completely random model from something else to paint, just to break it up. Because that's what I would do a lot of the time. If I was painting a 20-man unit and I was halfway through and I was starting to lose steam, didn't want to do them anymore, I'd pick up a quick little character or something like that, spend a few hours doing a bit of work on it, and then go back to the project that I was working on before, just to break it up.
Yeah. Well, we were saying about how do you paint your armies on the last live chat, weren't we?
Yeah.
And having that reward of painting something different or painting the hero, that's good enough to break it up as well, I think, for me. Like, I've done Croak and I've done Carnosaur, the Carnosaur for Rachel, and now I've got a whole lot of infantry to get through.
Yeah, there's some armies where it's worse than others for that sort of thing. Like Tomb Kings, I'll give one for an example, with just painting the skeletons, line after line of skeletons, it would be a mind-numbing job.
Yeah. Well, it depends, because when you get the bone colour right, if you sort out a really nice bone colour, it can be really quick.
But there's a lot of models, though, is where I was going with it, of the same thing.
I think that's what Age of Sigmar changed for me as well. Because, you know, when 8th edition was around, you needed... One unit wasn't 10 models. One unit was 30 to 40 models minimum.
Yeah.
And you'd have blocks of 100 a lot of the time. So if you were getting into 8th edition fantasy, and somebody's... Like, you say, oh, we're going to play a game, what do I need to start? Right, get yourself 200 models... Get them all painted, and then I'll teach you about the art of arcs and outmaneuvering and flanks and all this sort of stuff. It's such a barrier.
Yeah, well, it's like when they changed to Age of Sigmar, it definitely opened up that system for a lot of new players, and even bringing people back that they'd got bored of 8th.
Well,
I think it was definitely
players.
Good. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the thing with how obviously they've added now that you can play points and stuff, but when they first released Age of Sigmar, where it was a case of, well, I want to start a fantasy army. What do I need? And it's a case of, well, look at the shelf, whatever you want on there now. And I think it opened it up so much. That was one thing I really liked with Age of Sigmar when it first came out, was the fact of a lot of the time I tended to pick armies on what models I really liked, and I'd always get stumped on a certain army because it's like, okay, here's your core choices. and I wouldn't like any of the core, so it put me off then doing the army. But then as soon as it hit, it's like you can take what you want now. It's like I can now have an entire army of the models that I really like, and it was never that thing of I just can't do that army anymore.
I can't actually. I mean, the amount of armies we went through with you to try and get you into fantasy, because you were proper 40k, weren't you? You didn't do 8th edition, and every day I'd be talking about 8th edition because I loved it, and you'd be like, "Let's go play Eldar." I'm like, "No, I don't want to play Eldar. I want to play. I want to play my Dark Elf army." And it would literally be like a day of sitting and talking about what you would play, which army.
Well, yeah, we'd spend a couple of hours on this one army working it all out, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can't do this army, Sam. I don't like the core models. I don't like them." And then it would just be days after day. It's like, what army are you going to pick now? Are you actually going to get it this time? No. And then I think I ended up settling on doing Lizardmen, didn't I think.
You did about 10 of them and then gave up.
Yeah, but I had the army was built though, and I did play some games with it.
Yeah.
Albeit, yes, it wasn't painted.
Yeah. And then I mean, that's how you do it. I couldn't bring myself to play a game now without having the models painted.
I don't. Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, how long it takes me to paint because of the way that I choose to paint the army. If I would only ever play games with fully painted armies, I would never get to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just had to deal with it to make sure I can get to play games.
Go back to the chat because Phil's now texting me.
Okay.
Right, what have we got? Oh God. Undercover Soviet. Next colour is my blood. Please don't do that, Soviet. I said pick any goal, but pick a different goal. Basic miniature painting. Paint a Primarch Undercover Soviet, but not Papa Smurf. I don't know. Papa Smurf's a cool Primarch. You love Papa Smurf, don't you, Mike?
Sorry?
You love Papa Smurf.
Yes.
Frost and Fists. It is Mythos. If I can knock out some of these commissions, I'd love to work on Celestine. Yep, Celestine is such a beautiful model.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the two, what are they called? Are they Genesis models? They've got a funky name.
I couldn't tell you.
They've got some sort of funky name anyway. I found, Soviet, I found one of my goals. I need Taco Bell. Oh, don't talk about food. I'm hungry as well. My life will be complete when I get Taco Bell. Yep. Tom Wilson, I have the Deathwatch Cassius kill team to break things up. All individual beautiful sculpts. Yeah, I mean, that box set we talked about earlier is incredible value, beautiful models. And I'm going to get the Deathwatch White Scar Biker and use some bits off him for my White Scar 30k army.
Yeah, because that was a nice model, that was.
Definitely the bird, because you can use the...
Yeah.
You can use that as an upgrade. I think it's 10 points in 30k. Any Praetor can have it. You have this bird flying off and killing stuff. Right, that's it for base colours on this guy. I'm going to chuck a wash on it now. Although there is a strap there actually holding those skulls together. So, Phil is so excited. We're on 401 subscribers. Woo-hoo. Yay! Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I can only imagine there's some people in here who haven't joined before. Thank you very much for watching and joining in. And thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. It means that we carry on doing stuff. Otherwise, Mike will get bored talking to just me. Congrats, gents. Yeah, all of my... I'm not even reading that out, Soviet. Negator X. I'm in love with Kings of War. Age of Sigmar doesn't quite do it for me, but I'm happy to use the beautiful model. Yeah. I mean, game system, again, you can pick up the models you like and use them in whichever game you want. There's a lot of love around Kings of War, especially as a tournament game. I know Spud was talking about it, saying there's a lot of tournaments where you pretty much, to play Kings of War, you turn up to a tournament.
Okay.
It's supposed to be really good. I've not looked into it at all. I know that the system looks, as an outsider, it looks very much like 8th edition was, but with some different rules.
Okay, it's definitely something we're going to have a look at, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I probably wouldn't want to go back to that whole rank and file. As much as I loved 8th edition, playing Sigmar now and getting used to the rules of Sigmar, I actually much prefer being able to just get on with a game and build up a different army. Like if I want to do 1,000 points of Sigmar, it'll take me a couple of weeks to get done. Then if I want to try something different, I can take a couple of weeks to do another 1,000-point Sigmar army. And I'd much rather have variation than spend 6 months doing a huge army and then realise I don't like it or I get bored of it.
Yeah.
So I think I've had my time of rank and file, but that time is over. Frost and Fists, Tom, I agree. Death Watch sculpts are gorgeous. And Lord Tattoo, Sam, if you want to find out about bolt action, give me a shout on Facebook. Yes, definitely going to have to look into that. I think Tom and Lord Tattoo and James are all going to be getting me into that very shortly. Oh, you know what I haven't done? I haven't painted the shield.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to chuck the wash on it anyway, and I'll do the shield again afterwards. So are there any more questions that people have before we go off? I think this will be it for the weekend, won't it? We're going to have an unboxing tomorrow. That video is going to go up tomorrow for definite, which is the... I'm not going to say what it is. Just tune in. It's really good. In terms of models, Sam, I'm going to buy you a new brush. I'm painting everything with this chunky, horrible, old standard brush.
We were already discussing this. I don't know if it was earlier or yesterday about the brushes that we use, and you'd be quite happy to just use a standard brush for everything. I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I love my standard brush, but that's because the Artificer brushes are too expensive, and the Winsor & Newton brushes are quite expensive as well. I think if money wasn't an issue, then I would probably use an Artificer brush all the time.
Yeah.
However, money is an issue, so I just make do with what I can, which is the standard brush, and it works.
I think I normally wear all my brushes into the ground before I end up getting new ones.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, tomorrow. So the unboxing is super exciting. I'm proper pumped to get into all of the models and into the whole system that we're going to be unboxing. Phil has never been bothered by it, but after going through the box, I think he almost took it off me. And claimed most of the models in the box to do for himself as well. So it's a pretty exciting one. And then we've got Sunday. We are heading over to a tournament, a local tournament, and we're going to record some footage for that. We're not sure whether we're going to do live gaming and then hooking that up to YouTube or Twitch. We haven't gone into that yet. However, there will definitely be some content related to that tournament either next week or the weekend. And I'm going to try and get this battle report done. Once this stream's over, I'm going to go back into editing mode and finish this battle report. And you can see the game that me and Jack had in Age of Sigmar last week. So that's me sorted for the weekend, really. I'm pretty busy. No more rest. No resting period for me at all. What are you doing at the weekend, Mike?
I think I'm going to continue painting these Skaven, try and get the entire army out, then can play some games with them with a fully painted army, and get some more battle reports in then, I think.
Are you aiming to get the 1,000 points done, or are you going to do 2,000 before you play?
I think I'll probably get 1,000 points done first, so then at least I can start playing games with them.
Phil's put 3 premium subscribers would pay for a brush. Yeah, subscribe to premium, guys. Then I can paint with things that aren't the size of my fist. I've got some good painting tutorials on the way, actually. Last night I put a load up onto the website and they're ready to go live. There's a whole load of the legions, how to paint each legion.
Mm-hmm.
Done all of the traitor ones. They were done last year. And I've got all of the loyalists still to do, other than my Space Wolves. This tabletop painted Space Wolf, there is a full tutorial on how I did that. So if you wanted to do an army to this tabletop standard, there will be a premium video for that in the future. But yeah, I spent last night updating thumbnails, creating thumbnails, updating descriptions and uploading them all to the website, and then they're ready to just click live whenever we want to release them. So tomorrow, actually no, later on today, I'm going to release another premium video. What do you reckon? You choose, Mike. We have a choice of an Age of Sigmar model, a 40k model, or a 30k model.
Ooh. Just go 30k.
We could put it to the chat as well and see what they want.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in the chat, what video shall I release after this goes up on the premium section of the website? 30, 40, or Age of Sigmar? And then whoever says the most, we'll just go with that. Frost and Fist, Woot battle reports. Yes, I mean, we're getting better about report recording. And we've got 4 cameras in play that we have to tweak between for editing. So doing battle reports is quite tough in itself, recording everything while still trying to play the game. But then trying to synchronize and get 4 different cameras working on a battle report does take a little bit of time. So I'm learning the software and I'm getting faster at it. And soon I will be much quicker. So we're going to be having a battle report a week. And who knows, maybe in the future we could do 2 battle reports and do different systems. I think we're aiming to do a 40k one week, Age of Sigmar the next, 30k the next, and it could be Zone Mortalis or a standard 30k. And then we'll do, in the 4th week of the month, we might do a different game. So it could be Frostgrave, Bolt Action, Warlord Games, anything from there. I know Bolt Action is Warlord Games, but there's loads of others. So if people want to see different battle reports for different game systems, we can start doing them once a month. Everyone wants 40k models. Okay, 40k tutorial will go up after this.
Okay.
And Lore Tattoo ports. Nice. Tempted to be a permanent member. Premium member, yes. Be a permanent premium member. Make sure you put that code in though, because that will give you the discount for life. So after that's gone, the price a month is £3, which is still really cheap. But if you put the
What's
code
the
in
code, Tom?
the code is early bird, Mike.
Oh, right, okay.
Capital E, capital B, but all one word.
Sweet.
But make sure you put that code in to get the discount, and that runs out on Sunday. Right, this is quite a heavy wash. This wash has had, or so I thought, it was supposed to have medium mixed into it. However, I think I might have picked up the wrong pot. Because this doesn't look very thinned down.
Is it the right wash, though, at least?
Yeah, it's the right colour. It's definitely shaded it, which was the idea. I just might need to do a little bit more highlighting than I wanted to.
Yeah.
This is just the first test model for all of the Temple Guard. So once I've finished this one and I'm happy with it, I'm going to go and do the other 14 Temple Guard and then the other 30 normal Saurus warriors in the same way. And then the 20 skinks and then all the other big monsters.
A lot still to do, then.
Yeah. And then I can start my chaos.
Yeah.
My big fat Glockkin. Actually, I'm going to show my big fat Glockkin before we go off. This will be the last thing, I promise.
Is that the one that you've converted and added green stuff and all the things to?
Yeah, so I've been filming some of this because there's quite a lot of sculpting that I've done. I don't think I can even zoom out that much. Let's go out to there. He's absolutely huge. It's based on the Glockkin model, mixed with, I think it's called the Magath Lords. And I've used a Magath Lord head, and I did put some green stuff in there for like an eye, and I built up this mouth and stuck a big horn on it because I wanted it to look like a plague bearer. So plague bearers have got this cyclops eye and then the big horn on the top, and that was what I was going for. I've also though, so even though that bit could be a mouth, I'm going to change it to an eye, and then this bottom part of his jaw is going to be his mouth. And I've just sculpted this tongue coming around the outside of it, looking quite comical like Nurgle stuff should do. And just put some texture on it as well, just did some indentation on there. But there's a lot of work that needs doing on it. So I've put some green stuff around here to build up the structure of the arm. Some fur or some sort of texture around here. And then all of these bones are just protruding around his body. And then this, on the top, this white stuff, is PVA glue, and it's been put in the microwave on a plate. It's been left for about 10-15 seconds until it starts to bubble. but it looks like flayed skin. So around all of these horns is going to be like really nasty, bruised and bleeding skin. And then I'm putting all of this flesh green stuff around it as well, just to encase it. And then there's got this fur that goes around the back here, and I've just extended that with some more green stuff as well. So there's so much, like Tom's put I love all the Nurgle sculpts, so much character in each. That big boy is massive. Yeah, I mean, Nurgle's so much fun to just build things. And this arm down here, his right arm, that's normally the Glotkin arm, and I've extended it with this giant claw thing coming out of here. And I wanted it to look like the alien. You know the tongue from Alien? Or the tongue. I say tongue, but you say tongue. Everyone else says tongue. You know how it opens its mouth and then that little one comes out and spits acid at things? I wanted that.
Doesn't it have its own little mouth as well?
I don't think it goes again. It's the alien.
No, I don't mean it's like there's a third one that comes out, but I'm sure that the tongue has like a mouth thing on it, doesn't it? I could be wrong.
Yeah, it does, yeah. It's like a little alien with an alien.
Yeah.
So I wanted
like them Russian dolls.
Like a Russian doll, yeah. This is my Russian doll arm. And I'm going to sculpt this up to look like it's bursting out, and I'm going to use Yoo-hoo glue to have like really salivary looking liquid coming out of the jaw as well, and this is like pushed through. Like somebody must have gone near this guy and thought, yeah, he's not going to get me, he's got tiny little arms, and then this thing breaks out and it's just going to grab somebody and eat them.
It sounds disgusting.
It looks disgusting, but that's what Nurgle is. Filth.
Yeah.
I've done nothing on the back of it yet. Because it's going to be in my Chaos 40k army, I might do like a barnacle looking thing on the back of it. It's got a very pronounced butt cheek as well. Definitely going to have some barnacles coming off that. Anyway, that's that. Let's go down the comments before we finish up. So we have Phil saying Magnus one more time, just in case it wasn't enough.
Okay.
Lord Tattoo, Magnus is rubbish. Chuck Norris would beat him. And then Phil's put my bro, because obviously Phil is. Chuck Norris is rubbish. Frost and Fist, excellent. I thought someone was missing without Elstonation. Something was missing without Elstonation doing Chuck Norris digs. Yeah, we're not going to chuck in all the quotes. That's Elstonation's thing. But yeah, Phil is Elstonation's bro. Phil's put the code for the premium thing. We have Phil saying thank you for all the premium sub guys. A few of you here. Yeah, thank you to everyone in the chat.
It's all appreciated.
Who is currently a premium subscription member. It definitely means a lot. Thank you ever so much for that. And to everyone who's just joining us on the chats and subscribing to the YouTube channel. It does mean a lot. Basic miniature painting. What's the hardest army to paint in your opinion? We'll put that in a question, can't we? For the next chat. So
on the next chat, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely answer that. Basic miniature painting. Or the hardest miniature to paint, so we'll do that. Mr. Pink has joined us right at the end. Hello, Pink. He's probably just finished work, bless him. Nurgle suits itself so well to conversions. Your Magath Lord looks like he's doing the Egyptian dance. Walk like an Egyptian. Yeah, it does actually. You can start that from the side. That's it. We're seeing the Nurgle shuffle across the screen. Thank you ever so much to everybody who has joined us on the chat today on this random paint session with me and Mike. If you did enjoy it, give us a like. And after this has gone through, pop us any comments in the comment section below. Put any questions that you want us to answer on the next live chat. We've got a couple from the chat itself. I'll include those. And if you have any more, just make sure you put them in the comments below afterwards. And I will put them all in one big Word document, and we'll go through them as and when we can on the live chats.
Is the live chat on Wednesday, is it?
Live chat is next Wednesday. It'll be 8 o'clock. Other than that, keep an eye on the content. We're going to have a video going up on Premium today on the website. We're going to have an unboxing on YouTube tomorrow, and we're going to have a battle report on Sunday, as long as I can get on with editing now. And all the rest of the videos will resume as of next week. So thank you all for joining. We will see you all again soon. Thank you, Mike, for sitting and chatting to me, as well as everybody else in the chat.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Phil, for shouting Magnus. And that is all. I'm going to do credits now, if I can find them.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.